I had two patients in my office this week, and I actually saw them back to back. One was in exam room 4, one was in exam room 3, and I saw them back to back. Two middle school athletes. One was a middle school baseball pitcher, and he was finishing up his season with his elite travel team. He was a pitcher and had an injury that basically wasn't a real big deal, but he was probably going to miss another couple of weeks. But then he was going to go back and play for a club team in the winter, and then he'd get back ready for his elite travel team in the spring, again, all in baseball. The next patient was somebody that had an ache or pain with cross country and had a couple meets left in the season, and probably wasn't going to make it back for cross country, but then was going to do basketball a couple weeks after that, and then in the spring be ready for track. Which is actually a better approach to avoiding injuries? I'm Dr. David Geyer, orthopedic surgeon and sports medicine specialist. I provide education and insight on sports and exercise injuries, injury treatments, and injury prevention for athletes and active people, probably much like yourself, so that you can stay healthy and perform your best. This question of, do I stick with one sport and do it every season when we're talking about young kids, or do we do it where we vary up the sports based on the season, really gets at the idea of the stress to your body. Every sport, really every exercise, and this applies to not just young kids, but it applies to adults as well. Every type of activity puts a stress on your body, and whatever the demands of that sport are affects what body parts get that stress. So a sport like soccer is going to be a running sport, just like track, cross country. The stress is going to go to your feet and your ankles and your leg and your knee. Whereas a sport like baseball, maybe a sport like swimming, maybe more shoulder type things. And so if you're doing that, for an entire season, that's day after day of stress on your shoulder in the case of a baseball player, or to your feet and ankles and legs in the case of a running athlete. So that's where we get into this idea of a rest period. We see this at the professional level. All professional sports give the athletes some time off at the end of the season. Maybe 1 or 2 months, sometimes it's 4 months or more, and that's done on purpose to give their bodies time to rest. All pro sports do it. So if pro sports do it and pro athletes do it, we absolutely should be having our kids do it. But I hear so often from parents who are afraid that their kids are going to get behind other kids if they take time off. So they start these kids at 7 and 8 years old playing one sport season after season with no break. They may play for a school team, then they play for a travel team, and then maybe a select team, do showcases, but they're basically doing that same sport month after month for years. And again, that's wear and tear every day, every week, every month that builds up. Without that rest period, then their body doesn't heal and they develop more serious injuries. Now, I'm not saying that the kids, and again, this could be adults if there's a certain type of exercise you like, you don't have to just sit on the couch and be a couch potato, but play a different sport. Athlete number 2 in my example, that's the better way to go. So maybe you do one sport that stresses your shoulder and elbow for a season, like baseball, or the shoulder in swimming. But then maybe the next season you do something that stresses a different part of your body. Maybe a sport like soccer, which is a running sport that stresses your lower body while your shoulder and upper body rests. You're still getting good cardiovascular conditioning. You're still learning sports maneuvers and performance, agility, things like that could help you in your primary sport, but you're giving your body time to rest, time to recover, and potentially avoid injury. Then as you get older, maybe you pick one sport and focus mostly on that, but still give 2, 3, 4 months off to give your body time to rest. So if you have kids, why do you think kids want to play one sport year-round? Or is this a parent and coach phenomenon? Are you really worried that the kids are going to get behind their colleagues, their peers, their friends essentially, who are playing year-round? I'd love to hear your thoughts. Below this video, leave your thoughts, share your experience. I'd love to read them, and I know other people all over the world would as well. If you like videos like this and you want more information on sports and exercise injuries, injury treatments, and injury prevention, subscribe to my YouTube channel. Click the button in the upper right corner of the page. I would love to get those videos. I record a couple of these every single week, and I'd get those delivered directly to you. Thank you so much for watching. If you have friends who have kids that play one sport year-round, definitely share this video with them so hopefully they can learn from it as well. And I look forward to seeing you right here next time.